Welcome back to the channel. So if you're watching this video, you're thinking about getting into programming or learning how to code, but you don't know if it's a good pursuit. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you some of the pros and cons, and I'm also going to share some tips in case you want to get into software development in your 40s, 50s, and beyond. Let's get to it. Am I too old to learn how to code? The simple answer is no. It is not too late for you to learn how to code in your 40s, 50s, or older, but it is going to take hard work. This video is not meant to get you excited about programming and switch careers. Instead, what I want to do is be transparent and be realistic and not encourage you to do something that you're not ready to do. Let's look at some of the factors that would be in play if you had decided to learn how to code in your 20s. This is assuming that you already decided that college is not for you and you want to learn how to code on your own. You want to be a self-taught developer. If you were in your 20s, you will have more energy. You will have more time because you have fewer responsibilities. Therefore, you would have more time to devote into learning how to code. And also your mind would be sharpened than what it would be if you were in your 40s or 50s or older. When you are in your 40s or older, things are different. By now, you probably already decided that you wanted to start a family. You are more mature, you have more responsibilities, and therefore you have less time to devote into learning how to code. At the same time, because you have all these other things you need to worry about, your mind is not as sharp as a 20-year-old. However, if you go for a job interview, you are going to be perceived by your potential employer as more matured and committed to the potential position. Also, there are a few things that you need to consider. By now, you probably already built a career on a different industry, and now you want to make the switch to software development. This might mean that you might take a hit in how much money you make, because when you start as a software developer, you are going to be an entry-level developer. And by now, you might be making more than what you would be making as a junior developer. There's also a potential for age discrimination. It is difficult for employers to hire a junior developer in their 40s or 50s or older. Also, when you make the career change, you might not have the same network of peers as you had in your previous industry. You're going to have to build acquaintance over time, and that's something to watch out for as well. But enough about bad things. I think the whole time I've been talking about negative things, so let's talk about some positive things here. Or at least I will share with you how I would tackle it in case you still want to get into software development. The mortgage, the car payment or car payments, college tuition if you have grown kids, and bills, they don't wait. They don't care if you want to make a career change. They come every month. So how do you do this? How do you make this career change? When I made the career change, I kept my previous job in the construction industry and I used my free time to learn how to code. As I felt ready, I started getting freelance work. I started with simple things like doing simple websites, and slowly the contract price started going up and up. One of the reasons this worked out is because for a business, it's a lower barrier to entry to do a contract for $2,000 or $3,000 versus the cost or upfront investment to employ a junior developer. I think you'll have more chances finding freelance work at the beginning. This worked out for me because I had a full-time job and I didn't have a lot of hours to put into the contract work. I'm not sure how long this transition period could take for you, but for me, it took way too long. I think that I should have done it within a year, maybe a year and a half. Once you have enough experience, you should start applying for jobs. While you're still doing freelance, don't add any unnecessary risk to your lifestyle. But it is very important for you to start applying, and remember, it's okay if you get no's at the beginning. You only need one yes. Once you get your entry-level position, then you're gonna have to sit down and make some decisions. You can switch jobs and still keep freelancing in your free time, which is what I did as well. When I started as an entry-level developer, I wasn't making enough money compared to what I was making before. Therefore, I still had to do freelance work on my free time. So you could do something similar if that works for you. The important thing here is for you to build a good reputation as you do freelance work. Now, what is the best way to learn how to code? When I hear the term software developer, that could mean many things. You could be a mobile developer, you could be a web developer, you could be a game developer, you could be a back-end developer. There's so many things that you could be doing, and they're all slightly different. And the skills that you have to learn for each one of them are different. So what you need to do is do some research and find out what kind of developer do you want to be. And I think for that, you need to find that on your own. Do some research and find out what you see yourself doing. Once you determine what you want to be, go look for a roadmap online, or maybe you want to go to a boot camp. Who knows? But if you are going to be a self-taught developer, find a mentor and a roadmap. Find someone who creates content and shares their journey and gives advice. Someone who already has a position that you would like to be in once you become a developer. I want to remind you that it is going to take hard work, but it is possible and it is worth it. If you have any advice or if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your comments. Well, thanks for sticking around until the end. If you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get notified when we publish new videos, or when I publish new videos, or when I publish new videos. All right, thank you. Catch you in the next one. Well, this took a while. It would have helped if I would have pressed record the first time around. Well, it was good practice anyway. Hey, check out this video. It could be useful.